this position, that we are left in limbo until somehow a special counsel designates that it's okay for us to get briefed, is not going to stand.
The position the DNI has taken on this topic is untenable. It cannot be that their answer is we can't tell you what was discovered until the special counsel allows us to tell you.
After outrage from the chairman, the Justice Department says it is now working to brief the Senate Intelligence Committee on the Trump and Biden classified documents. This after calls for more transparency from the committee's leadership, who also want to see the actual documents, not just get briefed on them. Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn is a member of the Intelligence Committee, and he joins us now. Senator, it looks like the Intelligence Committee is going to get a little bit of satisfaction. The Assistant Attorney General Carlos Uriarte in a letter to Senators Warner and Rubio saying, we are working with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence to support the provision of information that will satisfy the committee's responsibilities without harming the ongoing special counsel investigations. From what you know of what the DOJ is trying to facilitate here, is that satisfactory?
Well, this should have been the initial posture of the Department of Justice. It's completely unacceptable, as Senator Warner, Senator Rubio pointed out, for the Biden administration saying we're going to block access to information about classified information that involves the Biden Justice Department, or excuse me, involves the Biden presidency. So this is a little better, but frankly, it's not going to be acceptable until we get access to all the classified materials. The Senate Select Committee on Intelligence regularly reviews classified documents. We don't take them home. We don't leave them in our garage. We leave them in secure facilities, and we don't talk about them. So I believe we can be trusted to get access to this information to assess its national security consequences. We don't care about the investigation. That's up to the Department of Justice. But what we do care about American national security and what these documents might reveal.
You're on the same page as Senators Rubio and Warner, who want to see the actual documents themselves. Warner saying, quote, we have a right as not only members of the Intelligence Committee, but as part of the leadership to review virtually every classified document, part of the so-called Gang of Eight. The DOJ is indicating, though, that they're not about to give up the actual Trump and Biden documents because they're part of an ongoing investigation. What do you say?
Well, ordinarily, you would not to maintain the integrity of a criminal investigation, you would want to keep it confidential, and we understand that if it involves a private person, but this involves much more than just a private person or an investigation that affects their jeopardy or not. This has national security implications. If you can imagine a scenario where some of this classified materials would reveal what an adversary may or may not do in the near term, and this is something that the policymakers, we as the members of Congress, would not get access to because the Department of Justice locked it down for 2 years while they completed their investigation. You can see what a danger that might present to national security. So this is unacceptable. Now we'll see whether the Department of Justice will be forthcoming enough, but I don't believe it will be acceptable to do anything less than get full access to all the classified documents.
Here's what your colleague from Florida, Senator Marco Rubio, said about that point. Listen here.
Well, I don't know how congressional oversight on the documents, actually knowing what they are, in any way impedes an investigation. These are probably materials we already have access to. We just don't know which ones they are.
Well, why do you believe, Senator, it is imperative for the Intelligence Committee there in the Senate to have access to the actual documents and not just be briefed on them?
Well, after the Church Committee conducted investigations into abuses of the intelligence gathering authority, the Congress created oversight committees, both in the House and the Senate, to provide an extra layer of protection to the American people to make sure that these tools were not misused. And so we do have enhanced insight into these documents. I read classified documents on at least a weekly basis, and we have briefings directly from the people collecting that intelligence as part of our oversight responsibilities. But we have a constitutional responsibility more than anything else as a co-equal branch of government concerned about the safety and security of the United States. That cannot be trumped by the private interests of President Biden or any other single individual and an investigation into whether they mishandled those documents or not.
One more quick question, if I could, Senator. You just mentioned that you view classified documents in secure locations all the time. Have you ever taken a classified document either home or to your office?
Absolutely not. Everybody who handles classified materials know that you are only supposed to look at them in a secure facility called a SCIF.
Yep.
But perhaps when they're transferred from secure facility to another secure facility, it's all under lock and key to make sure those documents are prepared. So never is it permissible to look at those documents, review them outside of a secure facility.
Senator John Cornyn of the great state of Texas, thanks for your time, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.